and welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your little dots all over me host, Madelyn.
I'm your glamorous award presenter host, Emma.
And thanks for tuning in to this week's show. It's my side quest. Maybe I should start doing this with my side quest too, like the 6 weeks in gaming. Can you believe it's my side quest again?
You should just say this every week.
Every week. Can you believe it's Sunday again? So I got to choose. Ha ha ha. And this week I decided I wanted to talk about celebrities and video games.
Yes.
Did you actually check we haven't done this one before? Like, I still feel like there's about a 10% chance that we have.
You know, I did not check as thoroughly as I usually do, but I feel like if we have talked about it, it's mostly in context of, like, either strikes or voice acting in general. So, none of the things I read felt familiar to me. So
yeah, that's fair. So yeah, just wanted to talk about, you know, Keanu and the others.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
You're breathtaking.
What?
You're breathtaking.
Huh? That's nice of you.
When Keanu Reeves came out to announce Cyberpunk.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You were breathtaking.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess what do I start with? Keanu? No, I don't know. I was just thinking about it. Why was I thinking about it? I don't know. I guess because Death Stranding is out and there's been like various stuff about those guys. We talked about Claire Obscure and how apparently we're going to subject this poor man to learning about games. Charlie Cox, so sorry.
Daredevil will learn how to navigate an RPG menu.
Good luck, buddy. I can't navigate this one. I played a little more this week, and I can't. Something about the way the Pictos get put on.
Oh yeah, the Pictos menu sucks.
Don't make no sense.
Someone's gonna have to help Charlie Cox with that.
I hope somebody sits down next to him. There is the interesting genre of gaming celebrity interview where they ask, like, oh, have you played the game that you're in? And they're like, no.
No.
The answer is always no, by the way. Yeah.
A lot of, I feel like, English voice actors also stream.
Yeah.
So if they are mostly a voice actor, somewhat likely they've probably played at least some of the game that they've voice acted in. Celebrities, they're busy. They gotta fly to Vancouver. They gotta fly to Abu Dhabi. They gotta fly to wherever they're shooting their next film, you know?
You'd think, though, that's the perfect time to play video games. Not if you're Keanu Reeves, maybe, okay?
Only if you... Well, I guess Cyberpunk is now on the Switch, too, so Keanu Reeves could play it on the go.
You don't think he's got a plane where he could have a gaming PC installed if he wants? You don't think he's flying on a plane where that would be a possibility? Come on.
That's fair. But he can play it on set now.
Yeah, exactly.
He can play some Cyberpunk on his Switch too, if he wants.
Get him a Switch Lite. Try Cyberpunk on that. See how that runs. So.
I don't think it is on the base Switch. Where is it?
Let's hope not.
I don't remember. Apparently the Switch 2 port's very good.
So. Let's hope so.
You don't have to. It's out. It's already very good.
I mean, for the sake of Mr. Reeves.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so why don't I talk about Cyberpunk? I feel like Keanu Reeves is look, there are a lot of very mainstream celebrities who have voice acted in games, but there does feel like a distinction to me. I mean, obviously there's a distinction. I realize that I've phrased this as if I'm about to say something really profound, and I'm not. There's a distinction to me in, like, the celebrity voice acting category and what we are moving into much more commonly now, where they are lending their body to.
Yeah. Which I think is something from, the articles I read that makes it more appealing to someone who mostly does, like, television or film.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, we've been doing celebrity voice acting casting in, like, Pixar and Disney movies for a while now, which is its own thing. But there are different skill sets, but, between... the way Marvel does things versus the way video games do things, is there that much of a difference anymore?
No.
So in a way, they've moved close enough together that even if you're not really like a voice actor specifically, you might have the skills still to do it.
Well, and not being a voice actor specifically is not a hindrance. Will not stand in your way. It will hinder you giving a good performance.
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, sure. Yes. I was saying, will it hinder you getting cast? No.
Sure. Although probably you are more expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
So
your rate might be up there.
Yeah.
How long until we get just a couple of years, right? Surely they'll have like a new voice track for The Last of Us that they'll release as a fun update where Pedro does all the lines.
See, I don't think Pedro Pascal would be a very good voice actor.
I don't either, but that wouldn't stop him.
I was thinking about this a little bit in the course of it, of like, oh, people, James Gunn has talked about like, oh, I want to cast people in the DC universe who can do like animation and games and TV and movies, right?
Yeah.
That can do all of them as one character. And so I was thinking like, oh, live action video game casting, could there be crossover there? And I like Pedro Pascal, I don't know. Maybe he has hidden talents, but the things I've seen him in are not very voice acty, skill presenting, I guess. One of the articles was talking about like actually for stuff where you have to get all in where you're doing the physical acting too, having theater background is useful. I assume because you're better at projecting and doing large body language.
Well, the article I read about that, where was that one? Hollywood Reporter. Basically said that, not just that, like, not only are you better at it, but people who are used to acting for TV have had to, like, curb that impulse, or maybe they never had it, right? Maybe they're TV actors because they never learned to overact for the stage.
Mm-hmm.
But in that article, one of the actors they interviewed basically said that, like, TV actors only know how to act with their eyes, which is, like, great for TV. You're very close. You want to keep it subtle, but just not useful at all for games.
Yeah, I feel like games have only very recently figured out how to, like, realistically animate eyes.
Only recently have figured out how to make eyes not look freaky, frankly.
Yeah.
Okay, so many things came up in what we were just saying. One, I think Pedro Pascal would not be good at games also because I just can't imagine his face in a game. He doesn't have a face for video games. It's a hot take. Sorry. Attractive man. Obviously very successful man. That's not a knock. Just something about the shape of his face doesn't seem right.
Sure.
So just think about that one. Let's chew that over, listeners. Just decide how you feel about that. Yeah, I mean, in preparing for this podcast, it did remind me, like, oh, there are way more celebrity voice actors in games than I think about, right? And also in game series where I, like, forget they're celebrities, right? Like, Haley Joel Osment and Jesse McCartney, right, in Kingdom Hearts. They've been doing it for years. I don't even remember those guys are actors,
Yeah. Well, Kingdom Hearts, I guess not Haley Joel Osment necessarily, but a lot of the, like, I think Hayden Panettiere, who doesn't do it anymore, but did, and Gallagher, whatever his first name is, Riku's voice actor, were both, like, Disney Channel celebrities.
Yeah.
So that also has, like, its specific, like, Disney connection of why, like, there's these Jesse McCartney too, I think.
Yeah.
Why they're in there, right?
That's true. I actually hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought, like, oh, they're part of the family, like, in a mob way.
Yeah.
But the DC thing that you just mentioned was interesting, and I hadn't heard about that they're hoping to cast people that can go across platform, because of course, people have a lot of feelings about celebrities in games, sometimes hype, often negative. But I remember, like, for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a game that is so hard for me to even think about because it reminds me of my PlayStation.
And remember the Avengers?
Yeah.
When the Avengers came out?
With notable games based on very high-profile properties where the characters are not modeled on the celebrity actors. And people did not like that.
Yeah. It does seem like, so like they just announced the Marvel fighting tag team game from Arc System Works, for example. And those ones are like, I did not see any that were like, oh, they don't look like the actor, but those ones are so like hyper stylized that it doesn't really matter. I think the problem with Avengers was like they, you know, they cast people in those roles in the Marvel movies because they sort of looked like the idea of the character that was in the comics. And then the Avengers video game is designing a character that sort of looks like the idea of the comics, but doesn't quite look like the live action, but sort of does look like the live action because they're based off the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it created this like off feeling of like wanting to see Chris Evans, and like he's like a quarter there in this guy's face. You know?
Honey, we've got Chris Evans at home.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the problem of doing like just like realistic graphics when someone has also sort of portrayed that in a live action scenario first, you know?
Well, we've now brought up both Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal, which reminded me of a movie that I've watched recently. And I want to ask about this because I feel like
Did you go see Fantastic Four?
No, I saw Materialists.
Oh. Sorry. We were talking about superheroes, too.
No.
Remember Chris Evans was the Human Torch?
I guess he was.
Yeah. Good
for him. And this came up in one of the maybe Reddit threads that you pulled, I think, where this how celebrity likeness is damaging to video games thing. And something that I feel like games have not, again, with the possible exception of Keanu Reeves here, right? So we have a significant degree of these games that are like, oh, this celebrity is like playing themselves, right? Like Fortnite, any number of fighting games, all sorts of like, even in some of the kind of like Grand Theft Auto, whatever type things, right? It's like, oh, that celebrity is here playing themselves and they've been modeled and they're playing themselves. Or like they're playing themselves in that it's like Seth Rogen shooting people, right?
Yeah. Nick Cage in Dead by Daylight.
Exactly. And then there are games where we have the celebrity and they are like just meant to be an actor, if that makes sense. But there's a weird, there's a thing in movies, right? I think less in television because you spend a longer amount of time with these characters. But there's a thing in movies like all the time because of this level of celebrity that is being utilized, where you're watching the movie and you're not thinking to yourself like, oh, it's Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson and Pedro Pascal, like the people who are experiencing this love triangle and grappling with the effect of wealth, fun, love, and whatever. Or like, I just watched a rom-com with Jennifer Lopez and Matthew McConaughey too, by the way, which like, man, he was bald for a while. Matthew McConaughey, crazy. Yeah. Anyway, something I've been grappling with lately. He could be in a game. Matthew McConaughey actually feels underutilized for video games, in my opinion.
Sure.
But you're watching these movies, right? And yeah, you're not literally thinking, oh my god, Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal are in love with Dakota Johnson. Or maybe you are. Maybe you're watching the press tour and you are, right? But
sure.
Whatever. But you aren't like learning the names of the characters. Right? You're like, oh, is she gonna pick Chris Evans or Pedro Pascal? This like weird transparency, right? Where you never become unaware of the fact, like a lot of people in that Reddit thread about, like celebrities are distracting in games. Like their justification was sort of like, well, yeah, like it's Keanu, or yeah, it's, I don't know, Danny
Idris
Trejo.
Elba also in...
What?
Cyberpunk. Idris Elba.
Yeah, Idris Elba, whoever you want. But, like, eventually, like, I just kind of got used to it. Like, it wasn't... Like, I stopped seeing Idris Elba. And, like, that's one way to justify it. But it's interesting to me that more games have not gotten into the, like, oh, that's Tom Cruise. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching Tom Cruise jump out of a plane. And not literally... you know what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, a little bit. I was thinking, like, my response to this Reddit thread was like, I don't know if likeness is more distracting to me than like I can recognize some English voice actors at this point. I go, oh, that's Yuri Lowenthal, right?
Yeah.
And for a while I'm thinking, go off, Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah.
And eventually it doesn't, like, I don't think about it anymore because they're acting, right? But I think like Nolan North is a good example. Like they cast him as the main guy in Spec Ops, like on purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Nolan North of Nathan Drake sort of fame, very classic male hero voice. Right.
Sure. Voice actor number 2.
Yeah. So when he's playing the main guy in like Spec Ops The Line, that's supposed to do something for you on a storytelling level also. Right?
Sure, continue. I have a thought on that, but continue.
And so I feel like there are ways to do that it's not quite the same as like Tom Cruise is jumping out of a plane, but I don't know if you can really do that in games in that same sort of way. Not to mention that the era of the celebrity is pretty much over anyway.
Sure.
So the era of the like movie star, I guess I should be, not celebrity.
I wonder if I actually feel that way. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, Pedro Pascal is new, and I feel like he has like almost that level of celebrity. Like some of the Marvel, I agree with you that kind of like absolute monoculture celebrity is over, but I actually think like the level of celebrity that's necessary to be like that's name in movie the whole time is still here.
There's just less of like, oh, I'm going to go see this movie because Pedro Pascal is in it, and I have to see. In the way that like classic like what's his name? What's the It's a Wonderful Life guy?
Jimmy Stewart. Sure.
You know, you go see the Jimmy Stewart movie because
But see,
Jimmy
I think
Stewart's
Pedro
in
Pascal is an example of that. I think two people choose to go see the movie because Pedro Pascal's in it.
I don't think he's been in enough stuff.
That's fair. Anyway, my point being that I will be interested to see where this like celebrity likeness thing goes, because I think that there's a potential of going in a direction where we're like casting actors in like Kojima is doing, right?
Yeah, Kojima's interesting in that he will scan anybody who comes to
which is
his
itself
office,
a Kojima
though.
game, I have to say. Like he should make a game out of that, his life, because it's dystopian.
Like, yes, Death Stranding has, like, Conan O'Brien in it, but it also has Peko Pekora and the RRR director, right?
Yeah.
Like, people who are celebrities, but aren't, like, necessarily, you know who that is. Everybody who plays Death Stranding knows who that is.
Yeah.
Right? It has a very eclectic group of public figures, is the more, I think, accurate way to put it, you know?
And it's an interesting way of getting around another comment I saw in this thread that's like, real people look more real than NPCs.
Well, see, I don't think that's true of, like, likeness. Like, a main character's face has more polygons than an NPC's face.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's based on a human being or not.
True.
That's just that's just how realistic game development goes, because you only have a certain amount of bandwidth.
That's fair. I guess I just also mean like, I actually feel like sometimes likeness characters do look like likeness characters and non-likeness characters do not always like adequately look of the same world. I guess, depending on, or like, I don't know. It might just be your brain is tricking you.
Yakuza is sort of a counterexample to that, I feel like.
Yeah, sure.
They have non-likeness characters and likeness characters, and
but Yakuza is a weird example for Western audiences anyway, right? I think Yakuza is, not to turn this all into like, let's talk about, I did not pick this because Yakuza and Kingdom Hearts fall into this. They just happen to be
relevant.
They just happen to be games that have been running forever and are relevant to any side quest.
Yeah, Yakuza has a lot of like live action actors in it. A lot of voice actors too, but also a lot of live action actors.
But Yakuza is so interesting, of course, because it has way more than a Western audience is like clocking. really, for the most part, which is funky to me.
Well, it's also like, I was thinking about this of like, are there any like English voice actors that you could call like at least like small time celebrities? And I think you could be like Matt Mercer, maybe, although that might be more for the Dungeons and Dragons podcast than it is.
Oh, it's definitely more for the Dungeons and Dragons podcast, but that carries over. Like,
yeah. I mean, he did that because he started voice acting and then was able to make that, and now that has become his star power. But
no, I think Matt Mercer is not. I mean, he's certainly not a celebrity whose like likeness is gonna do anything. But like
my understanding of like voice actors in Japan is that they are more recognizable celebrities. Most of them have singing careers in addition to doing voice acting. They might be idols even. So it's still sort of like the otaku subculture celebrity, but you're not necessarily, unless you're playing a lot of Japanese games and consuming a lot of Japanese media, you're not necessarily like able to clock like, oh, that's a big guy, that's a big star.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way that Japanese audiences would.
No, exactly. But that's why I think it's so interesting. It's like, oh, like I'm watching Daniel Day Kim and Danny Trejo and whatever, and they're watching what's his face from. I mean, of course them too, but like they're watching what's his name, the King New guy, right? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. Like, and I can't think of too many other good examples of like semi-popular games here that are utilizing likenesses of people who are popular in other markets. I don't know. But yeah, it is weird to think about like like a different system out here. Like, oh, if Ariana Grande like also had to like voice act for a couple animated shows a year.
Yeah. Well, she's stuck in her Glinda voice forever now, so.
That's right. Much like who was the guy who got stuck as Elvis?
Right, yeah. I don't remember his name. The other guy, yeah. The guy who played Elvis.
Yeah, but not the other guy.
Yeah.
The other guy had no trouble. I keep trying to talk about Keanu Reeves and not talking about Keanu Reeves, so let me come back. So he has not played Cyberpunk. I mean, maybe he has. It's possible in the last, like, 3 years he's picked it up. In a bunch of interviews, he was like, oh, I'm just waiting for a friend who's a gamer to come over and, like, show me how to game. But, like, that's a lie.
Well, I was thinking about this in relation. We already talked about, like, Charlie Cox being like, I guess I have to play Claire Obscure. And I feel like both, like, Claire Obscure and, like, Cyberpunk are games with a lot of complex systems going on that would be hard to be like, just jump into this as your first video game.
Yep.
And so I feel like that's why if you're a celebrity who's not already someone who plays video games, which I'm sure there's plenty.
Yep.
But it can be hard to like play your own game because it's like Charlie Cox is like, I last played Mario 64.
So at least he's seen 3D.
That's true. He knows it's 3D.
You know, he's not. Yeah, he calls them computer games a couple times in the article.
Yeah. And he didn't do the motion capture for that. That was French actors, I believe. And so, like, he spent like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Doing his role for this total, which in comparison to what you might spend on TV or movies is like nothing.
Yeah, he forgot he did it.
Yeah.
I did see, I thought it was interesting, like, you tell me if you feel like this sounds typical, because I wouldn't have assumed this, that, like, Troy Baker was like, oh, for a game, you're probably going in, like, 3 or 4 days a month for years. Is that how it goes? I didn't realize that.
Probably depends.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I probably for something like The Last of Us, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
If you're doing dubbing, probably not.
No.
Probably all at once. If you're dubbing over, for what was an originally Japanese game or originally something else game. Yeah, I assume it probably depends also on whether you were doing the performance capture.
Right.
So, and obviously the size of the role too.
Sure.
I bet Troy Baker's had to do that.
Yes.
Put it that way. I believe him.
Anyway, Keanu. I really expected there to be more interviews about how they got him to do this and like why they got him to do this. And maybe the launch of that game just obliterated the desire for any of that kind of fun press. But yeah.
I do remember, I didn't find anything about this. There was some point where they were on strike but could still do video games, still do voice acting work.
Yeah.
So there was like a period there where people were getting more into like voice acting and video game stuff because that was the work that they were allowed to do.
Well, there was one interview, LA Times interview with Keanu Reeves, where he talked a little bit more about why he did it. Where he was basically like, and it's so interesting the way he talks about this because he then like doesn't play the game, right? So like he talks in this interview, he says, one of the ideas that drew me to play the role when CD Projekt Red brought the project to me, they showed me and spoke to me about the platform of the game and the character. It's an open world role-playing game, which like good for him for being able to like, I was like, good. He talks about Epic Games later in there. I'm like, you did your research for this interview. Anyway, what decisions you make for your dialogue and how you want to be gives Johnny Silverhand not just one role. I'm playing different versions of the character. That's something I normally don't get to do when I inhabit a character.
True. Johnny does change based on whether you're nice to him or not.
And one, what a really basic thing about games now for Keanu to be fascinated by, right? Like, no, just one. Two, I guess I'm realizing, I'm like, what is it about film acting that people like? Is what just came to mind for me. I was like, okay, cool. But like, isn't what's cool about getting to play different versions of a character than like watching people experience that or experiencing that yourself in some capacity? And he seems to like have not done that. Right? Yeah. So I'm like, what was the point of that for you? Like, is acting not about validation of some kind?
I guess not.
I guess not. But what's the point of that then? Like, all he's doing in this, like, it's not like he's on set with, like, other people or whatever. He's, like, weirdly covered in dots in a big padded room or whatever, and, like, 1,000 cameras. What's fun about that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, somebody ask him that. Anyway, CD Projekt Red has also talked very little about why they wanted him. I mean, obviously why they wanted him was to sell games. Like, I'm not naive.
Matrix.
But they were like, oh, he's done sci-fi movies.
He sure has.
Which is true, but like...
He was, this was like, when the first John Wick had come out. So he was also hot.
Look, again, I wanted there to be some kind of more BS answer about, like, why did they pick Keanu Reeves and not any number of other guys? That's all.
True.
It's interesting to me.
Do you think they've made him play Hotline Miami for that one part in one of the John Wick movies where it turns into Hotline Miami?
Probably not. I hate to say it. I don't think that they have. Do you think Kojima will ever design a character from scratch ever again?
No.
How long until he abandons games?
Never.
You don't think if...
No, I think he loves making games.
But you don't think if Spielberg was like, come make movies with me now, but you can never make a game again?
I don't think so. I really feel like in the interviews I've read for him is like he loves movies, but like he loves making games. For all the long cutscenes and the celebrity actors, all of his games are very gamey. Although I think is he working on the theoretical Death Stranding movie? I guess in some capacity. Not as the director or anything though.
There's no way he would pass up the opportunity to like be on set for that.
Sure. No, I think if Spielberg called him and was like, come make movies with me, he'd be like, come fly to my home and I will scan you. I'm gonna send you anyway.
I did really enjoy this tweet about this that I will read. Ultima Shadow X. Kojima stands scanning every single person he interacts with so he can turn them into characters like young old man and the damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Honestly, that'd be a pretty good, like, I would give myself over to AI for this. They'd be like, scan your whole body and we'll give you your Kojima name.
You could do that without AI.
That was a joke. Obviously, yes. But it's a system it's a gimmick that I think you could sell to people.
Sure. Except for the rampant privacy concerns.
Well, I'm concerned about him having all of this stuff. Like, this could all be just an elaborate ruse. Another, like, celebrity-y thing, we've talked about gaming award shows and game promotion and whatever before, but obviously celebrity presence in the context of, like, the game awards and whatnot is sort of interesting, too. In that everybody hates it.
Well, it is, like, last year's Game Awards, I did feel like almost all of the celebrities on stage were at least promoting a game that they were in.
Yep.
Or had worked on in some capacity. Like, the first year that the Game Awards were... Well, not the first year, but I remember bringing this up, it was like, Timothée Chalamet is here.
Yeah.
Why?
Dude.
I don't know. We called him and said we'd pay him a bit. His publicist was like, these are nerds. You should probably go promote yourself for the Dune movies.
I don't know. We've established now that Timmy's a bro. So, like, he probably games.
But, yeah, like, just when celebrities first started encroaching on it, it was very much just like, they're here because they're in some sort of geek-adjacent thing, and their publicist probably thought this was, like, a good idea for promoting their name. Not because, like, they were working on a game, or were in a game, or liked games, or knew what a game was.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there's still some of that, like, when they walked out old Harrison Ford. I mean, I know he loves Indiana Jones, but, like...
Does he? Does Harrison Ford love anything?
He likes Indiana Jones a lot more than Han Solo, at least. I feel like it is pretty documented. He really does not like Han Solo. Yeah. He does like Indiana Jones. But when they were announcing that game and they walked the poor old man out onto the stage, it was like, put Grandpa to bed. And I don't really know... I was reading... There was like a New York Times piece where I copied all the possible relevant information so that I wouldn't lose access to it when I clicked on it again. That was like, well, it helps sell games, like, to an audience that might not pick it up otherwise. And I was thinking about that, wondering, like, is that really true? Like, I feel like for something like Claire Obscure, maybe people are like, oh, Andy Serkis is in this. I guess I will. I wasn't thinking about picking it. Like, it's still about, like, I wouldn't be like someone who doesn't play games is like, oh, Charlie Cox is in this, I'm gonna pick this up, in that kind of like celebrity movie star sort of way. But maybe people who don't necessarily play RPGs would be like, oh, Daredevil and Ape Man are in this. Maybe I'll pick it up.
I guess.
Seems higher profile than I thought.
Like, true, but like... I don't know. I feel like that game is like... How is that getting in front of those people?
In some ways, I feel like Ben Starr is like the bigger draw.
Maybe, honestly.
Ben Starr played Clive, Final Fantasy VIII fanatic Jimbo guy.
I mean, it's all about your audience, right? So, like, maybe.
Yeah. Because it's like, I was trying, like, why would you want celebrities in your game necessarily?
Right.
And the New York Times was like, well, it opens it up to other audiences. And I can see how it'd be like, oh, this game's higher profile than I thought. Like, would something like 12 Minutes have received quite as much attention if it didn't have Daisy Ridley and James McAvoy in it?
No, but it's
and
like...
William Shatner.
It feels like it should only work. I mean, this is just my like off the cuff response to this, obviously, but it feels like it should only work for certain genres or certain games of like certain sizes. Like Claire Obscura is kind of a weird case for me. Like it's one thing for Cyberpunk to have high profile Keanu Reeves, right? Big game, already getting mainstream media attention, cast a big guy, gets more mainstream media attention, right? It makes sense at that like top line budget situation, right? Also makes sense if you are super indie and you can trick someone into doing it, right? Like you're not going to get any press, so if you can get someone who has a TV credit to be in your game, you will get someone to write about it, and like you'll have blown your whole budget on that maybe, but you know, like that's like maybe. Also makes sense if you're doing something, yeah, like 12 minutes or like Telling Lies. You know, we just talked about her story, right? Like his follow up to that, like has more celebrity people participating in it. So it makes sense if you're doing something that's like, yeah, it's a serious acting thing, right? Like this is a game where the narrative is important and people are acting and telling a serious story. And so I've cast real actors, not the guy who played Yoshi, you know? Like
Sure.
But Claire Obscura is weird because it doesn't feel like a genre where, at least in the West, we care that much about who plays these characters. Right, like I know it has has a more serious story, but it's still like an RPG story. I don't know. It's interesting to think about that. It's like, oh, this is a genre where, for the most part, like we aren't so fixated on that, and it's of a size of game where it's like, well, like I didn't know those guys were in it.
But does it like grab people who are scared of like anime things?
They don't look anime though.
I know, but it's like Final Fantasy adjacent. And some people are scared of Final Fantasy.
Does that work though? I mean, like I'm thinking of like Studio Ghibli dubs always have fancy people in them.
Yep.
Right? And does that make people less afraid of...
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, Ghibli is the most recognizable, anime film studio.
That's true.
Still.
That's true.
Over here. So
it's just interesting to think about when, knowing that these celebrity or even, vaguely celebrity casting things are going to command money. Like some of these articles talked about, oh, well, the minimum pay rate for this kind of thing is X dollars, but they aren't getting paid that, buddy, basically. And it's interesting to think about, when is this a good investment, given that you have finite amount of money.
Yeah.
I also read some stuff about how like all these celebrities are promoting all these crappy mobile games right now.
Sure.
And it's just because all those games are backed by like huge shady companies that...
Well, it's like celebrities promoting like gambling games anyway. Gambling apps anyway.
Yeah. It's like they're able to pay them enough money that they don't care what they're talking about.
Does speaking of gambling games, does the horses count? The horse girls? Are those celebrity appearances?
The horse girls?
Have you not seen any of the Uma Musume game?
No.
It's they are based on real racehorses, but they're girls.
Wow. I don't think that counts. I don't.
They're celebrities though, right?
No.
It does. People send so much grass to Harurara now that they have to give it to her in installments.
Maybe they've turned them into
retired racehorse Harurara.
Maybe they become celebrities because of this. Yeah. Not very many examples of that, are there?
What?
Like people who star in a motion capture game and then become celebrities. Doesn't really go the other way.
Maybe it could.
It's hard to think of what that game would have to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know, and the Game Awards stuff and the celebrity cameo stuff in games is funny because I think that we're at the end of the era of this being funny in this precise way.
Yeah.
I think at least the publicists have gotten smarter now. Although, God, that like video of Will Arnett introducing the Twisted Metal series at one of the Game Awards or Summer Game Fest or whatever, he just looks unkempt. He just looks like they were like, this is due today.
Yeah.
Please. 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 But I think, we're at the end of the era of this, like, oh, they don't understand games. Like, I think people are too media savvy to do that now, for the most part. Unless they think it's, like, part of their brain. Like, Harrison Ford could do that.
Sure.
And we'd be like, ha ha ha. He doesn't understand games.
He's old. He doesn't have to understand games.
That's right. On the flip side, Harrison Ford coming out and being like, I'm a
speedrunner.
I love Octopath Traveler or something. Would be great. So he's got, or I'm a speedrunner, yeah. He's got a lot of, we saw Indiana Jones, buddy. We know you're a speedrunner. That he could pretty much go in any direction he wanted and it would be equally on brand.
Yeah.
Are there celebrities you want to see in games?
I don't even know any celebrities.
I think somebody should give Nick Cage a cyberpunk-esque role. I think he would kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah. And he, like, says yes to whatever. So, he'd do it.
I think you could do something good with Nick Cage. I do. I really do.
Yeah, no, I just don't know. I'm not a fan of anybody. Probably for my own health.
Yeah.
But, so I can't be like, oh, I'd like to see this person in a video game, because I don't really care. Like, even with, like, voice actors, it's like, I know some of their names, but I'm never, like, really hyped to hear somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's another question for you then. Are there gaming characters, maybe, that you'd like to see a more James Bond approach taken with them? So, like,
where they, like, change actor?
Yeah. So, like, the creator of Mortal Kombat, or, like, the guy who did Mortal Kombat 1, maybe not the creator, but Ed Boon, like, had originally hoped to, like, cast a bunch of celebrities, basically, to play the classic characters, which people hated, and he ultimately really didn't fully do. And Megan Fox apparently did kind of a bad job. But is, I think, an interesting, maybe not a successful idea, maybe not a good idea, but an interesting idea.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. You could have Hitman voiced by anybody, probably, on that James Bond thing.
Yeah.
I guess Link.
Yeah.
If Link ever talked, you could have anybody voice Link,
Uh-huh.
right? If anything, it should be a different person every time. I feel like the problem is a lot of, like, the more sort of James Bondian type characters in games are silent protagonists.
That's very true.
So it's hard to be like, yeah, they could have someone else do the yeah. You know what I really want? I really want to return to Kingdom Hearts 2 Pirates of the Caribbean world.
It's so funny.
Not with Pirates of the Caribbean, but I think that more things should look like that.
Describe that in a little more detail.
Kind of stupid. There's something very I don't know. I find something charming nowadays about, like, the ways that, like, old likeness characters used to look as opposed to, like, high def likeness characters,
yeah.
where it's like You can kind of tell that that's Orlando Bloom, but also he's kind of like smushed, you know?
His face is flat.
Yeah. And he's not voiced by Orlando Bloom either.
Okay, then the real question is, what celebrity do you want to see appear in a game in the hot style of PS1 horror?
Nick Cage.
Honestly, yeah. That's real. I mean, I want a high def Nick Cage too, don't get me wrong. But,
Sure.
But that's pretty good. Do you think that a game will ever be released without a celebrity ever again?
Yes.
I'm just kidding, obviously.
The day when we get, like, a celebrity doing a voice in, like, Persona 6 will be an interesting day.
Yeah.
I feel like. You know? Like, right now, like, there's a lot of celebrities in games, but they're doing, like, Western stuff.
Right. Western prestige stuff, mostly.
Yes.
Or Western absolute
Indie
trash.
stuff. Yeah. Or, like, independent games or stuff like Cyberpunk or awful little mobile games.
Or
but
Fortnite.
I'm waiting for the dub revolution, where they make them say just horrifying things. That's what I'm hoping for.
Bring it on. I think it'll happen. I mean, everybody plays games now, right? So
Keanu Reeves, this time you are a cartoon cat, and you're gonna like it.
No, but like everyone plays games now, and I don't believe that a celebrity is actually a different breed of human being. I mean, they
Sure.
are, right?
They're busy.
Sure, they're busy, and that's why the 50-year-olds don't play games.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were busy as young actors, they didn't get into it, whatever. You can't tell me that Sydney Sweeney doesn't play video games, you know? You can't tell me that, like, that generation of rising star doesn't play games. Or hasn't played games, at least.
Yeah.
Doesn't have some games from childhood that they are fond of.
Sure.
And so maybe they don't play games now because they're too busy and they can't play the game that they were in on their Switch Lite on the private plane. But I think that these people are going to be smarter about it and, like, why they would want to do it and interested in it, and not just, like, why would I want to voice the falling block in Tetris?
Right.
Which is what games are. So don't get into voice acting, folks. It's too late. You missed the window.
Well, that's not true either.
Really what you have to do is get scanned by Hideo Kojima.
You have to move to, like, Texas.
That's
what
true.
have to do.
You cannot join a union. Well, anything else to add on Fame and Game?
I got nothing.
Should we? Oh, I didn't talk about. Obviously, I won't talk about this, but, like, obviously, an area where, like sports games are the biggest celebrities of all time.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
Just noting that I recognize that sports people are celebrities too.
Ronald Reagan is in that Call of Duty game.
He's not played by Ronald Reagan, though.
And he will respect your pronouns. Just like the real. Just kidding.
Al Gore and Bill Clinton are in something.
There you go.
But I don't know that it's them. I don't think it's them. That's another, like, celebrity cameo that we won't get it. That's like that's a famous person.
The real historical
but
figure.
not played by them.
Yeah. To be fair, that happens a lot in movies, too.
Yeah.
Ask that guy who got stuck in his Elvis Presley voice.
Where are the biopic movie or video games?
That'd be weird.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, where are they?
Yeah, they should make an Elvis video game.
That's just what I was thinking. It's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh yeah, some of those hymns.
All right.
Well, listeners, are there celebrities you wish would act in video games or celebrities you wish would stop? Do you wish that we would just put J.K. Simmons in every video game? He's pretty much seems to already be in every video game. But him and Danny Trejo have got it locked down. How do you feel about my idea of having more games where we're like, oh, that's quick, give me a celebrity. That's Angelina Jolie, right? Like, that's sure. Angelina Jolie probably plays video games.
She was Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Anyway, if you have thoughts about this or anything else we talked about this week, hit us up on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Talk This Podcast. But also you can visit our website, www.talkthispodcast.com, where you can read all about the show, check out the games in the hat, and read our blog. And most importantly, though, if you enjoy the show, you ought to subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts, online and on the app, Overcast, Pocket Casts, wherever you can find podcasts. Subscribe to Talk This so you never miss an episode. Every week where I say, can you believe it's another week?
Yep. Next week, we're talking about Tamagotchi Connection Corner Shop and Lost Records Bloomin' Rage.
And then it'll be Emma's side quest. Who would have thought?
My side quest. Can you believe it?
Well, that's it for this week's show. Emma, give us a birthday sign off.
This week, I hope that your likeness is a little bit smushed.